Hey guys, it's your girl Cameron and I'm back at it again with another video. And today we are going to be talking about the death of singing competition shows and why isn't it paying off like it used to anymore. So we're going to get into a little analysis on the topic. I just really want to get into this video today because I have quite a few things to talk about. So please like, comment down below. Were you a fan? And are you still a fan of singing competition shows? Join the conversation, let me know, and please hit that subscribe button down below if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and let's just get straight into the video. Let's go. The impetus for this video. I had just watched the last season of The Voice. I hadn't watched a singing competition show in years, guys, in years. Like, it had been so long I couldn't even remember. And of course, because I heard Ariana Grande would be judging, it worked on me. The tactic worked. I decided I would finally watch a season of The Voice. I used to be a big fan of singing competition shows. Embarrassing, I know. But I figured I would give it a chance. The Voice is another take on a singing show, and it's been around for 21 seasons. Fun fact, I had no clue. Watching it, I was underwhelmed, of course. I liked the concept and where it was going. You know, you have the team of judges, you have the battle rounds, there's an extra competitive nature to the show. But as the rounds kind of went on, it was dragged, and the talent voted to stay was kind of overwhelming. And the people who won, you know, it brought me to the thought, like, what is the purpose of these shows anymore? Is there even a purpose? Is it outdated? And I'm just going to let you guys know, I think 100% yes. I think we need to abolish all singing competition shows, but we're going to talk about why. First off, these singing shows now, nobody's producing household names. So I want to go over the people who have come from singing competition shows who have actually been somewhat successful. So we're going to talk about Kelly Clarkson, Jennifer Hudson. Now, she placed 7th on the 3rd season of American Idol, but she's arguably one of the most talented and most successful Idol contestants.
One thing a black woman know how to do. Let's make it.
Carrie Underwood, biggest name in country music. Fantasia, Jordan Sparks, Fifth Harmony, One Direction. The name goes on. And we'll be mentioning a few other people in here, but proof is in the pudding, right? Like, these shows were producing stars that are still around. Let's talk about why people go on to these shows. So singers come on these shows in hopes that they'll gain a fan base. It's great exposure, but all exposure is not good exposure. Usually after the show, they kind of fade into obscurity. Fun fact, I had 2 girls from my high school who were on. I'm not going to say the season. I'm not going to say who. So neither of them won, but they both made maybe the top 5. And I remember at the time, Idol was kind of on that, like, you know, it's still relevant, but it's not like how it was. But we were all super excited because the film crew had come to our school and had filmed some B-roll and things like that. And I was actually on the show. That was me. That's my face. They definitely gained some following, no doubt. And when they were on Idol, they were like the hometown heroes, right? Like, everybody was invested, which is amazing. I'm not trying to say that the platform of American Idol is not valuable, but I will say that after the show, even in their hometowns, people weren't buzzing about it, right? We're not even just talking about on the World Wide Web, right? Or just viewers, like, what's the next thing? And both of these girls are extremely talented. One of them, you know, is kind of doing things, but they still have to put in the work to be successful. I think Idol gave them a platform, but there's a lot of people surpassing Idol contestants who didn't have to or weren't on a show. Let's talk about it. I mean, season 13 winner Caleb Johnson, I think that's the last season I had watched, only sold 24,000 copies of his first album off of Idol. Kelly Clarkson, the very first winner, sold 20 million copies of her first album. I mean, I remember when Kelly Clarkson's music came out, I was a little nuts. Singing competition shows in general have been oversaturated. We have American Idol, you have the X Factor, you have the US version and the UK version, the British version, The Voice, The Forge, the Rap Game, there was the Pop Game, which I like the Rap Game, let me stop. But all of these shows are so centered around singing. What worked out for people before, so we're talking about from like 2000 to 2010 was like the prime years, right, of the singing competition show. You have a little more time after that. The star making machine is just outdated and it is no longer relevant. And I believe the reason this is because A, things change, but B, with the advent of YouTube and social media, as with everything, the way that we discover things are a lot more forward and faster. You have so many options and so many people to discover just on the internet, and you get the choice. You don't have to select one out of 15, right? We can find new singers on YouTube. Think of, or on social media, period. Justin Bieber. Right? He was making videos. He got discovered that way. Ella Mai, I know, was making videos on Instagram. Can we also talk about the fact that Kehlani was on, I think it was America's Got Talent? I don't think a lot of people know that, but that's kind of one of the ways she got her start. And more recently, like TikTok, right? Like people are making songs and are getting viral. People will just click with Easy and make a quick video, and people are legitimately blowing up that way. With easier access to music by way of these platforms, you have streaming platforms, Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Music. It just makes it so much easier for the consumer to choose what they want to consume. And I think once this was put into the forefront, people just didn't see the need to keep investing in this singing competition show model. It felt very inauthentic, and we know that to be true. A main thing that I think the disconnect is that singing competitions are usually solely focused on the vocals. I live for a good vocalist, and sometimes they're not, but generally, right, you're more so concerned about the vocals. But being a successful artist is not just about having vocal talent. It's about your artistry, and your artistry includes your image, your storytelling, your emotion, your style. And they kind of start to tap into that a little bit on these singing shows. But when you're really an artist, you're establishing a sound, not just a genre. A lot of these contestants come on these shows and they say, okay, I'm an R&B singer, I'm a pop singer, I'm a country singer, but what lane, right? You have to establish a sound, and that's what we miss from a lot of these people. Singing shows are often just cover songs, more times than not, correct me if I'm wrong, but we see these singers through the lens of songs that have been created, that have been crafted. It's almost like a glorified karaoke. Nothing wrong with that, but after that's over, we want original material, and I think that's the problem. Nobody wants to be hearing people sing the same songs that people have been singing for 20 years. Music isn't just about singing like it used to be. People always say,
there's no vocalists anymore. Nobody cares. Like these people weren't raised up in the church. These people aren't singing.
Unfortunately, it's about having the whole package. When you have so many artists at your exposure and there's so much competition and there's so much room, it has to be more than just about the vocals. You have to do something to set yourself apart. And I think singing competitions fall short of this because they don't develop the artist in that way. So that by the time that the show is over, the artists don't have much to show for. They're kind of lost and there's not really a clear direction. So people don't really know what to do with it. Like, yeah, I liked your Mariah Carey cover. It was all right. But what else do you have? Because Mariah Carey has done Mariah Carey. Whitney Houston has done Whitney Houston. Luther Vandross has done Luther Vandross. Like, we don't need to be rehashing this, and I think that's a part of the reason that it's gotten old. So let's talk about the tea, some of the narratives and the behind the scenes that a lot of people don't really know or think about when we're talking about these shows. The shows are governed by law, or they're supposed to be, so they can't technically fix the outcome or winners, but the producers can do a lot to affect it. It's very similar to reality TV. Now, they're not supposed to, do anything with the votes, and there have been claims that The Voice has discarded votes and disregarded votes, allegedly. All alleged. Everything I'm saying is alleged. Singers and artists who come on these shows legitimately wanting a shot and wanting it to be about the music, it could go either way. And you have to be careful because, yeah, you're signing up for a competition. You think it's all about the singing, but there's a lot of other things that go into it. So some things that producers have been known to do are making two singers sing the same song in the same key. We know that different singers have different strengths. The voice battles, for example. What really pissed me off about this show is they would make two people battle that were not even in the same stratosphere or realm. So it was kind of an unfair fight. I feel like you should make people compete likewise. So when you have groups on a show, you have a soloist competing against a group. You have this belted singer singing with this really soft-spoken, just beautiful I don't think that's always the most fair shot. If you think about Sophia, who was on this last season of The Voice, she does have a beautiful voice, and I've seen videos of her offline, but she was getting clowned.
Have whistle notes as well.
We're making memes out of like Ariana's facial expressions and Kelly's, and saying they wish they didn't turn around. Like, this 16, 17-year-old girl just coming on this show to have a good time, share her voice and possibly make her dreams come true, became a memeable moment real quick. And those producers and those film people are very slick. Then we can talk about show contracts. You guys know that when you're on a reality TV show, you do have to sign waivers. Like, I'm pretty sure when I did American Idol, wait a minute, did they even have me sign? I don't think they had us sign a waiver, but definitely for the contestants. So, for example, let's talk about The Voice. So, allegedly, contestants have had to sign 32-page legal documents. Makes sense for reality shows that you will have some things you have to disclose to. The contract allegedly says that the show can change the rules at any time. You can eliminate contestants at any time, even despite them winning with the public. So even if they're likable, if they want to flip a narrative, or maybe if you do something wrong, you can get rid of. Force contestants to undergo psychological testing, and under some circumstances, release these results to the TV. So not saying that that happens, but the fact that they literally have to sign away like their lives for the time being that they are on these shows. And contestants who may reveal these details allegedly can be sued from anywhere to $100,000 to $1 million.
Damn.
Right? So that's why you don't hear much about the inner workings of what's really happening on these shows. So it can be a little messy, right? It's not just about the singing. And let's talk about it. This is the elephant in the room, is those whack ass music deal recording artists contracts that you win at the end. First of all, I would just want them to give you some money. Just give me like $100,000. No, give me like $500,000. I'll be straight. But the recording deals, and if we know anything about record deals these days, is contracts were not and are not always the best way to go. I know it's very appealing for a young artist to get a music deal or a record deal, but it's not the best thing all the time, especially if you're binded by that for a while. Adam Levine allegedly said that the winners get contracts with Universal Music Group, but they usually fail to promote the artist properly and lack strategic plans. So it's almost like they make this contract with The Voice just to be like, okay, this is your prize, but we're not genuinely invested, because Universal Music Group technically doesn't get to choose who they want. Maybe there's some politics going on behind the closed doors, but that's the problem too. You're not being seeked out by people who actually want you. America voted for you. So now that these record deals that are in cahoots with these shows and have these contracts with these shows, they have to sign you, whether they believe in you or not. Because let me tell you, if I was, one of the people who was having to take on some of these artists who won, I wouldn't be invested, because I just don't think you should have won. So there's a difference too. You're almost kind of being chosen because that was the deal. But are the people who are supposed to be working for you really invested in your art and believe in you? One example that we could talk about is the rap game. It's a little bit different than American Idol. Lotto. A lot of people didn't know, but she did not sign that contract. Everybody assumed that she had signed the contract with So So Def. And somebody in her position would be like, ooh, I got the chain. Ooh, this is a record deal.
A lot of people from the outside looking in they're so curious as to why I didn't sign. But when you're actually in the circle, you see a lot of things that other people don't see.
And they'd be quick to do it, but she didn't. And she was extremely smart to take the exposure and go. So let's get into the golden age, American Idol. American Idol just worked. It was that simple. It was one of the first shows of its time. It was inevitable to be a hit. You had the interactive voting. You had different themes each week. And most importantly, you had ordinary people just coming to these cattle call auditions and having the opportunity to become stars. And the music industry got fresh faces. At the time that worked, we needed it. They had fresh faces. And at home, we felt like we could relate. We're rooting for like that hometown girl. It's so funny because I look at Kelly Clarkson now, and I look at like people like Jordin Sparks now, and I look at Fantasia now. And I remember seeing them on Idol, and I still look at them like that ordinary person, like Kelly Clarkson, that small town country girl with a, like, you just look at them like that and it never goes away. And I think that adds to their glimmer and their sparkle, right? And Idol was special in that way because we were introduced to these now celebrities before they hit it big. They were normal people. And yes, celebrities were all normal. Most of them were, and did not reach their big break, or it took them years to do that. But for a lot of us, we didn't see that. So we've just known them as celebrities, and it does create that disconnect. But with them, I got to see you in your rawest, most real, most vulnerable state before the fame, when you just had a dream. And there's something so special about that. Now, at American Idol's peak in 2006, the show had over 31 million viewers. That was unseen. Well, Ruben Sutter did one, but Catherine McPhee, Philip Phillips, Chris Daughtry, Taylor Hicks, Chris Allen. So these people who aren't necessarily household names anymore, I still remember them as winners. I just remember it because that show just had that pull like that. So at its prime, I think it will forever be probably the best singing competition show, and nothing can change that. It's the blueprint. And you know, they keep trying to keep that show on air. Pack it up. Let's pack it up.
Oh, so cute. I've always wanted to go on one of those.
And then we're going to talk about The Voice. So out of 21 seasons of The Voice, guys, I have failed to name any winners except for the season that I watched. Now you might say, Cameron,
But you didn't watch it, so you wouldn't know.
but what I'm saying is I'm not hearing the music. Like, these people it's not doing anything. And it's crazy to me because there's so many celebrities attached with their names to this show, and the show is still not making waves. How does that work, Sway? And besides the celebrity aspect, which they so desperately try to cling on to, it's still irrelevant. And that's the only thing they're trying to have drive its views. They can try to get Ariana Grande. It did work for me, I'm not even gonna lie, but I will never watch the show again. They got Miley Cyrus, you get Christina Aguilera, etc. But there's no real hold. You can no longer just use celebrity power to reel people in, to get them interested. And that's The Voice's problem, is they're so celebrity focused because I think they know that people just don't really care as much about the singing. So they made it, let's talk about team, right? You're on team this, you're on team legend, you're on team that. So they make it more celebrity focused, and they focus on the judge rivalry. They're always busy showing these skits and these funny videos with the judges and X, Y, and Z. And it's just very played out and it feels very forced. Can I guarantee you Ariana Grande's fan base will probably not watch another season of the show? No. Even if she comes back on the show, I probably won't watch it because it was just that bad. X Factor is the greatest example of being able to manufacture. Simon Cowell was also involved with X Factor, and we'll talk a little bit about him. But that manufactured machine only runs so long until it doesn't anymore. But it can be very genius, right? It's similar to like this K-pop model, how, you know, they'll choose all these people and make this group. It's very similar, and they got a little bit of that. For instance, Fifth Harmony was a successful group, and we got standout talents like Camila Cabello and Normani, who I think has the potential to be one of the greatest entertainers of our time. But the actual group just couldn't hold up. They had a good run, but there was drama. I think at a certain point, the group thing just got old, and they didn't choose to be together. All of these girls auditioned on their own, and some of them just weren't vocally strong by themselves. So smartly, Simon Cowell put these people together, and that's what happened. Now, One Direction is the exact same story. You have these 5 boys who come together. Some of them are okay vocalists, some of them are better than others, and you put them together, and they had an amazing run. One of the best boy band groups of all time, but it went up in flames. Little Mix, British X Factor, we all know what happened to that recently. They had a really great run. So the manufactured talent does good for so long, but that gets old too. I don't know if you guys know this, but Tori Kelly, she had auditioned for Idol, and Simon Cowell was like saying her voice was annoying.
One half could, it's wanting more. It's gonna send me to...
I don't think so at all. I thought your voice was almost annoying.
Oh, really? Stop
Yeah.
it.
What'd you think?
I was like, Simon, that was one time that you got it all types of wrong. Because Tori Kelly is doing really well for herself, and she's an amazing artist. So there are those mishaps that happen, and that also creates a disconnect with viewers. Now a roundup, just to include some final findings and facts. People have claimed that OG shows were produced by successful A&Rs like Simon Cowell and Clive Davis, so American Idol, for example. And they had a hold on the insides of the industry, knowing artistry, but also knowing business. And that was what was so important about having people like Simon Cowell on a panel. People who are really involved in the business and who aren't on the artist side. Also, like I said, digital and social platforms give listeners and audiences a range of choice of who they want to listen to. So it's not so much that singing shows aren't helpful, but it's like, people are like, why would I watch this when I could just go find some poppin' artist off YouTube? Final. I think we could do without the singing shows altogether. I think people still appreciate the platform, as in like the singers. But I'd argue that you can reach many more people through social media impressions, and I think that's the more effective model. However, I'm not saying that it's easy. Some people, a lot of it is luck. A lot of it is consistency. And I think it's a little harder because people are very intentional with being very social media savvy. Like when Justin Bieber was posting videos and trying to get big, he was doing it because he liked it. I don't think he was necessarily doing it because it was like, oh, I'm trying to get scouted. And I think more people have that mindset. So it is a lot more competitive because people are a lot more polished and they're having teams and they're creating these images even before they make it big. So yeah, guys, that's my thoughts. I wanted to kind of break down a few aspects of it, but I think it's run its course. I think it needs to be thrown in the trash. I think we just need to cut it out. I think everybody would be fine if we didn't have any more singing competition shows. Like, comment down below, do you agree or disagree with my thoughts? Let's have a respectful conversation in the comments below. And please hit that subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this one. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.